Hello and welcome to your next digital class with Ron Kustrup. Today we're going over our movie posters and how to design those. Basically, by the way, I'm going to be going very quickly through this and I'm just going to show you basic approaches so you can kind of get ideas about how to approach it. But there's so many different ways to create this movie poster that you're just going to use the tools that you've learned throughout the class and implement them in different ways to create a composition. Here are some examples of masking being used. You can see transparencies on the left, by the way. So you can take multiple images, collage them together to create something unique. You can mask out different parts as well. You can mess around with the font, play around with, again, typography. This idea of breaking up the image is really nice. Keep in mind that you can have the titles of what you would have your actors be there as well. Don't forget at the bottom. Notice at the bottom of these posters, there's always a credit section. You must have that. This is a nice aesthetic that's used a lot, having this rip that's masked away at the bottom. But keep in mind the font, okay? Keep in mind the credits as well. So you have to. There's two compositions that are required for this project. You can have them kind of be similar to each other aesthetically, kind of a motif, but it does not necessarily have to be. Okay, here's another example. The one on the right is really a good approach when you have multiple characters layering like that. It's used a lot in Disney as well. Okay. Oh yeah, there's another example on the left. Batman, Superman. Again, Star Wars uses often that like layered look. So it can be flat. Look at that image on the right. That's very flat. Some of you might be approaching it like that. On the left, that's another interesting approach. You could, be using layering, transparencies, and mess around with the font a lot. Okay, so this is clearly multiple layers spliced together. Make sure that you take your time with this. You can do parodies. That will be fine. Okay, and that's the basic idea. I want to show you how to go about doing this. So again, basically, what I'm showing you is just basic tools. Okay, and you're gonna play around and experiment with these tools to create something unique. So we're calling it movie poster. It's going to be tall. These are definitely tall. Movie posters are tall. So width 8.5, the height's going to be 11, and the DPI or resolution is 300 as always. So I've already gotten my images. I'm going to do a piece on the current pandemic situation. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this image I found off the internet, and I want to take something from this. So what I'm going to do is Control Plus to zoom in. Let me actually get all my images in here that I plan to use. So this is the second one I plan to use. And then I think this is the credits that I'm just going to use for now since I'm demoing. And I'm trying to make this quick. I'm just going to use this for the demo. Okay. So first thing I notice is I can't see my font when it's in front of there. So what I do is I go to my a lower layer and I click this icon to create a new layer. I'm then going to go to the rectangle tool. I'm then going to choose a color, hit OK. I'm going to make this the colors here. I'm going to make this. Let's make it like a this color blue is fine. We're then going to look at our font. We're going to move it, and we're going to say, okay, now it is on top. Perfect. But it's too hard to see. So I'm going to go to my layer again. I'm going to see if I can edit it here. Probably have to go into my, yes, you have to go into your rectangle tool to change the color. So that's much nicer. Now we can see our font. We're going to make it larger. Remember, you have to hold shift so it doesn't warp, okay? So I have that there. This is going to be a nice background. I'll put that. I'll enlarge it really, really big. Remember, hold a shift because warping looks very unprofessional. So I have that. So now I'm going to, so notice I can't see this. Why? Because it's underneath. So I have to click and drag it above. So again, you can see, blink the eye if you're not sure. And I'm going to show you to cut an object out. Remember, I have to hold shift. How to cut an object out using these tools. So if you right click the icon underneath the lasso tool, there's object select, quick selection, and magic wand. They function the same way they do in Photoshop. They just take longer to load. So let's go to quick selection, and I want to select this this shape right here. So it must be rasterize. If you see that appear, just right click in the layers panel and go to rasterize. Okay, click and drag. Now if I hold shift, I can select more areas. I just want the basic sphere, okay? If you select too much, you can go to the minus tool, click and drag. I'm going to minus all the stuff that I do not want, so that's fine. That's fine. I just want that kind of shape, that circle shape. So now that I've got the selection, I can hit the mask tool, and I've got that mask. I want to layer that effect, just like make it a little bigger. Maybe have it like at the top. A nice trick to remember is if I hold Alt, I can duplicate, and I have it like really fill the sides. Like that's interesting aesthetic, kind of claustrophobic almost, but I think it works with the theme, right? Just a little bit of compositional balance. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a title. I'm going to go to the top layer. I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm just going to click, and I'm going to type. I'll call the movie Pandemic, right? So then I can move it around. Okay. I would say it's kind of hard to read depending on where I have it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right down at the bottom, and I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to make this white, and we're going to click and drag it just so like the pandemic is visible. I think that'll look nice. Yeah. So that's got kind of an interesting aesthetic to it. So I can go to, now I've completed my project. My first composition, go to File, Export as JPEG. If you need to save it as a PSD to continue working on it, you can do that. I go to Save. I then go to here, Show in Finder, and I double click, and I can see I've completed my first composition. And that's how you approach the movie poster project. You can submit it in school.